Morning, Leslie. Another week, but what a week that's been, boy.
Oh, the weather's been glorious, hasn't it? It's like spring.
Blast. Do you know what? I sat out in the garden I sat out on the garden on Wednesday in the afternoon because that was a bit frosty first part of the week, wasn't it?
It was.
You know, in the morning, everything had that thick layer of frost on it. But that soon come nice again. By Wednesday, I was getting a little bit milder. And yesterday, that was milder still. But Wednesday, I sat out in the garden for the first time this spring. Are we allowed to say a spring now, boy?
Well, I think so. It's the meteorological spring, as I said last week. But I think it's not spring for another few days. But I think we can call this spring now, don't you? The daffs are up. The crocuses are up. That's all very positive. The lambs are being fattened up for Easter. Perfect.
Yes, no, I'm with you there, boy. I always say that ain't spring until you put your clocks forward.
No, that's right. End of the month.
And then,
spring forward, fall back. End of the month.
That's right.
Yes.
But with the weather we've been having, Wednesday I sit out in the garden. I had a Yorkie bar, got the old Brom out and give the path a sweep.
Lovely.
And I thought to myself, that won't be long before I got to give the grass a high cut because you mustn't go down too far, must you? Because you rip it out.
No, absolutely right. Yes, you must have been.
Because it's a bit boggy.
Yeah.
This time of year, a bit soft on the foot. But I did sit there, boy, and I thought, here we go. This is what we've been waiting for.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Make you feel a lot better, doesn't it, Leslie?
Well, the thing is, Brian, when it comes to gardening, I had to fill up my green bin the other day because I was in the garden and I filled up my green bin. I think there's talk of us having another bin. We've got 3 at the moment. I think we might have a 4th at some point. Have you heard about this?
Another bin?
Yeah, another bin.
The hell is all that about then?
Well, as if we haven't got enough bins out the front of our house that we might well have a 4th.
Well, do you know what you say that? I was having a yarn with Ticket the other week, and he was saying to me something about he'd had a leaflet or something put through the door, and that they are thinking about giving another bin to go alongside the. Now, let me get this right. We've got the garden waste.
Yes.
We've got the blue top one.
Yes.
And that is where you put your cardboard.
That's right.
And your plastic.
That's right.
And then I got a glass bottle one. Years ago, they gave one of them, the green tub thing, that I put the bottles in. And then there's the grey bin, which is for the bags to go in it, So what the hell are they giving us another bin to put in now? What we got to do a business in it?
I don't know what they want to put in it. I really don't know what they want to put in it. But
nothing would surprise. And where are we supposed to put all these ruddy bins? I mean, you go round the back of mine.
Yes.
You have to negotiate them to get round, get to the path, and go up the garden because they're at the back. I don't like to walk too far. The old cow next door, she make him put his bins right up the top of the garden. Poor sod, he have to drag them when they're full. They can weigh a bit.
Oh, they can. Yes, I know. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a bugger. He is, because he ain't got a green bin. He put his grass cuttings in the grey bin.
Oh,
and I say to him before, you shouldn't do that.
No.
You should go to because that then go to landfill where that should be going to wherever they take the green stuff.
Yes, yes. Well, when you remember,
he's a bugger for that.
When you remember,
I see him struggling down the path. And I think, why the hell is she making him put that up the top of the ruddy garden when he could be like me and just put that round the side? So when there's time to get that out, he can just go round the corner and wheel that down the side. He ain't putting a strain on his back. Some people, they make me laugh, Leslie, but you see, he's frightened of it, if you ask me. He don't say no to her because she can be a nasty old cow, boy.
Well, you've told us, yes, I know. The thing is, do you remember when we used to have the dustmen? They would come round the back of the house, they'd pick up the one single metal bin, they'd sling it on their shoulder, they'd walk to the truck, they'd chuck the stuff in the back, and then they'd put it back round the back in the garden. Those were the days, weren't they?
That's right. Well, my father Herbert,
God rest his soul.
He had a friend, Larry, I think his name was, and he was on a dust cart.
Yep.
And you're right that you wouldn't have to put the bins out then. They'd come right round the back, wherever that bin was, they'd go and find it.
Yeah, they'd find it. Yep.
And they'd lift the lid off, and they'd then hull it over their shoulder. Down they go, empty it in the cart, and they'd bring the bugger back, wouldn't they? They didn't then leave that, because this is another thing that roll me, boy, when they empty the plastic ones.
Yes.
And sometimes I don't get the right plastic bin back. And the girl Rosemary, she said to me one time, why don't you do what I do and get some numbers?
Yes, put a number on it.
Put the numbers on the bin. Well, I said, now why should I go and spend a tenner on ruddy numbers to put on a bin when I know each ruddy bin is mine, and if they pay attention when they're emptying it, they can put the right bin in the right place, because they take 2 or 3 at a time.
Why don't you use some of your old paint, mate?
Wheel them out, and then they empty them into the old cart, and then they just think, oh, bugger that, we'll put it wherever we want. But this is what get me, Leslie. Why I always put mine facing outwards with a handle, so they can just take it and wheel it, know.
Get some old paint, Brian.
Where do they leave it? They leave mine in the middle of the ruddy path.
Brian.
What good is that to people who are walking with a pram? That ain't no good to them whatsoever, is it?
Brian, get some paint. Paint your number on.
No, I am not going to go and paint numbers on my bin. I know what bin is mine, and they should do the same. I clean my bin out twice a year during the summer because the old maggots, and I will not put sticky numbers on them.
Okay.
I mean, someone's getting rich out of these, isn't they?
I'm glad I mentioned it now. Anyway, have you been watching the news this week? Old Donald Trump's. Every news bulletin, he's top of the news bulletins pretty much all the time, isn't he?
I'll tell you what I'm doing now, boy.
What's that?
I turn the telly on, I see the headlines, and I turn it off, because I am sick to the back teeth of seeing that orange thing on there, raving on about this. Are they getting married, boy?
So, are they what?
Are they getting married?
Who?
Old Trump and Putin, because they might as well get into bed together, because I think
they already are.
Then I listen to them going ahead, and after what they got up to week 4 last, when they were raving and going ahead in the Oval Office, I sit there and I put my head in my hands and I thought, Christ, the world has gone mad. And I tell you what people must think when they look at it. You imagine, right?
Yes.
You're turning on the telly for the first time, and you happen to see that orange thing.
Yes.
Orange thing, spouting on and going and waving his old hands as like he's going to take off in it.
He's got little hands.
There and he with her.
He's got little hands if you look.
No, he's got ruddy great hands. When he started waving and going ahead, then he pointed his old finger and he leaned forward with his old fuzzy hair going all over the shoe, and then he start raving on there about this and that. We heard him say that they're eating cats and dogs, haven't we, in the past? And now what was that thing he said the other day? I sit there, boy, and I think to myself, the world has gone mad.
Well,
and I'm the only one thinking like that.
He loves tariffs. Tariffs is his thing now, isn't it? He puts tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and then a few hours later he says, "Oh no, we're not gonna put them on just yet. We're going to give them 2 or 3 weeks." And then he comes, "Oh, tariffs this, tariffs that." So I
have said this before, boy, and I won't be surprised if they ain't got one in the Houses of Parliament as well. They got a wheel somewhere, and as I call it, a wheel of ideas. And what they do, they go in. Now you laugh. They sit there now, how can we get on the news today? And they go in that room, and on the one in the Houses of Parliament, that'll have the pensioners on there.
Yep.
That'll have a law. That'll have children. That'll have benefits. That'll have all these categories on there. And that wouldn't surprise me if they go in there, they give that ruddy wheel a spin, and wherever the arrow point to, they say, there we are. That's what we're going to go on about today. And that won't surprise me if that orange thing ain't got one of them in the back room at the White House.
He could well have. Brian,
he's as mad as a box of frogs, boy.
Brian, we're going to have to leave it there for this week. But enjoy the spring weather, and we'll catch up very soon. Goodbye now. Goodbye.
All right, then, boy. Take care. Speak to you next time. Cheerio together.